In a time and in a market where tech layoffs are going absolutely crazy, it really is a difficult time to be an employee. So many people are looking for jobs and they simply can't find them. Companies are laying workers off, there are hiring pauses, hiring freezes. It's just difficult to be in the employment market. And a lot of companies right now have the upper hand. People still need to make money, but obviously, in a market where jobs are hard to come by, employers can effectively ask for whatever they want, and most people are simply going to have to bend to those rules to simply make a living. This is kind of what we're seeing coming out of a few of the biggest tech companies right now, with companies like Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon implementing performance related layoffs. Now, of course, if people aren't meeting standards, it kind of makes sense, but we're going to get into that in just a second. So, we are seeing Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon reportedly leveraging performance reviews to guide layoff decisions, with some experts advising employees how to work smarter and avoid the cut. So, Business Insider reports that Microsoft is reportedly preparing for another round of layoffs, and underperforming employees are expected to be the primary focus. According to sources familiar with the company's plans, whilst Microsoft has confirmed an upcoming job reduction, the tech giant did not disclose the scope of the layoffs and the criteria. Amazon, meanwhile, has previously employed performance metrics in its layoff strategy. Between 2022 and 2023, the e-commerce giant placed a number of employees on performance improvement plans before reducing its workforce by 27,000 people, linking those performance reviews and layoffs. So it reflects a growing trend and essentially is how many companies are dealing with workforce reductions. You know, a lot of companies, for a number of reasons, due to perhaps AI, due to a challenging market, are looking to cut back on their headcount. And one of the biggest ways that we've seen this being done is by these supposed performance plans. We've seen so many companies doing this, and another one is, of course, Meta. So, in addition, Meta Platforms had announced their plans to trim 5% of its workforce. That's the lowest performers and higher the impacted roles, right? So, this is kind of crazy. This is kind of what we're seeing in the markets as a whole, and we'll get to why this is so significant in a second. But basically, Meta's doing the same. The CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, warned employees about further job cuts to raise the bar on performance. Now, this is where things really get interesting. Overall, I'm not necessarily against companies asking for the best out of their employees. However, there is of course going to be some nuance to this, especially when we're talking about human resources, or perhaps more aptly, people. Now, as I've brought to you many times before, we're also looking at this hard-nosed message to employees coming from the Amazon CEO. This does tie directly into today's topic, and I'm going to show you exactly why. So there's a big part here that stood out to me, and that's this quote from the CEO, and that is, of course, he said to get the best leaders, they need to get the most done with the least resources required to do the job. He said that every new project shouldn't take 50 or more participants to do it. Now that's fine, but the questionable bit is this. He said that people need to move fast and act like owners. Some of the competition is working 7 days a week, 15 hours a day. This is where the concern comes in, right? So of course companies are going to want the best out of their employees, that's what they obviously pay them for. But do bear in mind that compensation for these employees is perhaps not comparatively to the cost of living as strong as it has been at some points in the past. At the same time, we're hearing things like work hard and act like owners on these wages. Do bear in mind, this is a company like Amazon, right? A lot of what they do impacts a lot of people, and it kind of sets a lot of standards. So when they are implying that some competition is working 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, and perhaps that Amazon's workers should work, if at least not similar, very, very hard, the question is, what sort of a precedent is this setting in the workforce? Then if we have a look at the situation over at Meta, a lot of people are saying that these performance-based layoffs may not be performance-based at all, and perhaps might be a scapegoat for other issues. So on a post, an anonymous platform for tech employers, we've heard several Meta workers announcing their concerns. So we've seen some say that the company is misusing these performance evaluations to justify layoffs, some alleging that the company let go of employees whilst they were on approved parental or medical leave. So just take a minute to think about what this means, right? Take a minute to think about the way that the tech sector is going. Now, I want to know what you think. Do you think this is okay? Do you think it's right? Do you think it's wrong? Not necessarily this specific part, but the whole concept and the way that companies are moving. Like I say, from the way it seems, it looks like the employers have the upper hand here. It's not really an employee's market right now. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you for your time, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.